everybody. Sorry, I just said no. Welcome to Block Party in August. Woohoo! Today we're going to do Patches of Life, and it's basically all the different patches of, a little bit of this and a little bit of that, and it just makes up your, your beautiful life. So the first one that I'm gonna show you is a queen size quilt. It's made with 2.5-inch strips. It's an Island Batik Jersey Shore. Can you help me hold it, Teresa? So this quilt is made up of triangle squares, triangle in a square, 9 patches, and a center. So it's pretty simple. You're going to get your center square from your background fabric. So don't cut your center square first. It's just kind of like a afterthought. And you can also substitute it with a 9 patch. So you can place it, when you put it all together, you can put in the 9 patch, take it out, put in the center square, see what you want to do, and just kind of play with it. Okay? Well, that one's kind of plain, right? So this one in 30s reproduction has a sawtooth border, and I'll show you how to do that. Can you hold it too? I think she used, did you use less fabric in this one? Less colors?
No, it's 32, believe it or not. It's just that it's smaller. It's 2-inch strips. The other one is 2.5.
So this wall hanging, or you can call it a lap. I don't know. I would call it a wall hanging. This one uses the 2-inch strips for doing the 9 patch, and that one just uses the jelly roll or stack strips, or I don't know, whatever you guys want to call it. You can also take a jelly roll and cut off a 1/2 inch to make this. Sometimes you don't want to have so many large quilts. You just want something for your wall or for your lap. You can just take one of the strips. They've already done the organization of what looks nice together, and it's a whole collection. And you could just cut it down so you can make this one. This one we substituted the center square with a 9 patch, and then this one has a wave border using the scallops, Scallops, waves, and vines and waves template. And this one's pretty cool. Well, the back is neat. Yeah, she did a really neat feather.
But this is just across, and it's very durable.
So what she was saying is that she just, it's kind of like, echo stitching, but not really. Crosshatch stitching. This one is very bright and cheery.
Very subtle. You can really see the 9 patch because it's plain.
So this is a planned 9 patch. So she has the green in the center, and she used the I don't know what kind of color, melon, for the outside strips.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, the colors on the borders are different too. I love the borders.
And then this is something a little bit easier. So in the pattern, you pretty much have to substitute and just figure it out. There isn't yardage for this small of a quilt. It's just the larger ones, like what we showed before. And then this is another planned. And this, the quilting on this, if you can zoom into it, it's very geometric. It's really cool. I think it was. Well, no, I don't know if it's a program on a long arm.
Yeah.
It does, yes, it definitely is.
I don't
Cool. And then this is to make the quilt go a little bit quicker. So say that you had a baby shower or something, you just didn't want to make any 9 patches. This one just takes the 9 patches and makes it into solid squares. So just remember to use, well, this one's a busy fabric. So you want to lay it out ahead of time to see what it's going to look like with a busy fabric or just kind of a, something that's dull and plain. It makes it kind of, come together.
Very fast.
So she took inspiration from, what was that quilt?
Radiant.
Was it So Radiant? Yeah, So Radiant. So she moved it to the side. Off center.
That is really cool. That was a lot of figuring.
And that'll be really easy in your layout. So what we're going to do is make the blocks, then you lay it out, and then you number your rows and then sew them. So if that's something you wanted to do. And this is a mini. There are not any instructions in this, but this is a quilt that Sue made. She cut them down to, I believe, 1.5 inch strips. So we have instructions on doing the 2.5 and 2. So this is with the 1.5. And then she took all of her extra fabric and, of course, put it on the back. So I'm going to put this one up on the wall. I know it's not the one that we're going to be showing, but it's just for color. And it's really easy. All right. So the queen size quilt that we first showed you, and it's the one on the cover, uses this Jersey Shore strips pack from Island Boutiques. And these are really good because they're nice bold colors. You have a combination of dark and light colors. So it's going to give you that, really cool look. And what we do, of course, we do have strips. So we're going to start off with, and I'll do this for Eleanor, just in case she's watching, strips!
Where is she right now?
So Eleanor is in a, I don't want to say nursing home, but I just said a rehab. So she is in a facility that is able to check her diabetes on the hour. She's basically just resting her leg, so it's all repaired. She is not quite walking. She can walk with a walker. She's cruising around in a chair and physical therapy. And she's able to do physical therapy, I believe, 3 times a day. So it's really good. She'll be out and back home around the 22nd, we're thinking, of August. So it's just a little bit of a change of life. She has to get better. It's better that she's doing it somewhere else than, running around town. So it is in a kind of like a Velcro cast. So, so you'll want to think about your strips. We had the one that was a planned with the red in the center. Remember that one? And then the green on the outside. So with that one, you'll want to do a light, a red, and then a light, right? For one of your strip sets. But this one's going to be a scrappy look. So with this one, I'm not going to do like a gradation, from light to dark. I'm going to do something that I'm somewhat planning that this is going to be a dark center of the 9-patch. So you'll want to do your strip sets in stacks of 3. So just kind of keep in mind of what you have. So this one's going to kind of give me the opposite look. If I can open it, I'll just set it. Right, so that'll give me a kind of a different look to it. So they're not all the same. So we're going to sew with a 1/4 inch seam, and I'll spare you the sewing on that one. Ta-da! Teresa did these for me this morning. So, so she did a variety of different, like the dark, light, dark, and then light, dark, light. So what we're going to do is we pressed the center ones. I'm going to do it all at the same time. I'm going to do layer cutting. So we pressed our outside seams, the ones that are going to be outside the 9 patch, towards the outer, I don't know what you want to call it. How do you say it? To the 1st and 3rd strip. And then we pressed the center into the end. And when you sew them, they're going to lock. However, when I'm going to cut these, I'm going to layer cut them. So I'm just going to kind of stagger them a little bit, like that. So if I was to be doing the smaller lap or wall hanging, I'm going to be cutting at 2-inch strips. For doing the queen, we'd cut them at 2.5. So if you don't have another kind of ruler, I suggest, if you don't have like a specialty ruler, which I'll show you in a second, I would suggest the 6x12. And I'm going to mark this at 2 inches. So this is glow line tape. It's not really, it won't give you much of an edge or a bump to put your fabric up to when you're cutting it, but it'll give you a good reference guide of, it'll help you out a lot, and I won't have to think so much. Sure.
Did you start with 2.5-inch strips or 2-inch strips?
So these are 2-inch. 2.5. I'm sorry. So maybe I should cut them at 2.5. Thank you.
Yeah. It was a layer cake or
It was a jelly roll. So sorry.
no? It's all right.
Good catch.
Good catch. That's all right. You caught it before you did it. After I cut it.
Another one of those that, oh, shoot, I did that wrong at home.
Darn, I did that wrong.
Yeah.
So I'll straighten the edge, of course. And then I'm kind of using the grid. So when I laid it out, I didn't move it just a little bit. I'm using the grid so it kind of stays straight. Oops. And then I'll go through. So if you're not good with using a regular rotary cutter and ruler, we have something else. So this is going to be my 9 patch. The Shape Cut Pro is great for these. It's a little bit large of a ruler for doing just this size. However, it once again requires zero thought. So the Shape Cut Pro has marks at 0, 2.5, 5, 7.5, every 2.5 inches. And it's really easy. You just put your rotary cutter in the slots and cut away. And it's really quick, easy. You can also fold your fabric over onto itself, and depends on how strong you are, cut more layers. So there you go. Right? So, yay! So what we're going to do is lay out our 9 patch. This is kind of how Teresa had planned it a little bit, right? When she first cut it, well, let's move this around. Does that look okay?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
So we're going to flip them right sides together, and then the seams are going to lock. You can just wiggle them in. See how the seams are pressed? Do you want me to sew it or just skip it? Yeah, sew it? Okay. You know what's funny is it always hits me about 2 minutes into when I start speaking, and I go, you know what? I'm actually teaching a class right now. I can't believe that this is what I'm doing. Reality hits.
Oh, you're doing so good.
Oh, thank you.
You are fantastic. She'd be happy that you're stylist.
So this is a brass stiletto. It's a old, tool from the 1800s. And this is one of Eleanor's favorite little tools. And I thought I hit the cut button. Oh, yes, I did. All right, so then we're going to open it up. And this one is pressed to the center, right? So we know that this one we'll want to put on this side. And you'll want to assembly line sew, so they're all just, you're just sewing and sewing and sewing. Okay. And I wear a different shoe than I used to. I started to get back problems with the shoe I was using. And, oops. So I wear these really rigid, they look like, I don't know, maybe business shoes, but they are kind of like boots. So they're really hard for me to press the presser foot. So I don't think that this is my problem, and I will show you. These things match perfect, and that's where I started with. This, I don't know. I didn't sew this one.
Put your finger over it.
So there you go. These ones match perfect, right? So we'll press it out. So we'll be pressing the seams out. So there's our 9 patch. Ta-da! All right, next we want to do the triangle square, or triangle square. Triangle, yeah, piece square triangle. Triangle piece square. That one's so bizarre. Sometimes we call it one thing and then we call it another, and it's really confusing. So this one, when we were writing it, we had to go back to several books, and then we pulled them all out, and they all said something different. So triangle piece square. So this one is the queen. This one is 7 by 14. And what I'm going to do is draw a line in the very center, take my ruler, and then draw up into the corners and sew a 1/4 inch. And then just turn right around and then sew down. Right? And then we are going to cut this. And I should be able, this ruler is a little bit shy, but it doesn't matter because this is going to be in the seam allowance. So the stitching is the most important thing, as long as you don't goof up on cutting into your seams. Whoops. All right. So I'm going to show you 2 different ways of squaring this up. The book shows you one way, and I thought that I could show you another one too. So this one squares up at 6.5 inches. And we're going to use our trusty 6.5 inch triangle square up ruler. There's two different ways of the thought process. One is to move the line up above the stitching line to compensate for the fold. In the instructions, we had you put it right on the line. So if you find yourself making a little bit smaller of a patch than the 6.5 inches, then you may want to move it up just slightly. Okay? So what I'm going to do is put it right on top. Ooh, wait. Yeah, sorry. I was going to go use a rotating mat, but I'll use the rotating mat for the triangle in a square. Okay, cut up, down, and then you can turn your ruler around and cut the little dog ears off, or you can just do it by hand. You know, just kind of like eyeball it and cut it. So when we press this open, we will have a perfect 6.5 inch triangle square up ruler, or triangle square up. So the other way is you can take this guy and press it ahead of time, and I'm going to press towards the dark. And then if I use a rotating mat, I can use the same ruler, place it in the very center, and it's going to require a little bit more cutting. But if you don't like that method, you can do it that way. So I put Invisigrip on the bottom of the rulers. You can use Invisigrip, or you can use those little sticky dots, the True Grips. So here we go. We have a patch. And then in case you guys can't find your 6.5, you can always use your 6.5 inch fussy cut ruler. It's the same size. And it has that, 6.5 inch line on it anyway. So you could use it this way. You can cut it up. It's pretty much the same, right? So there you go. And let me get rid of those. And now for the triangle and a square. So the triangle and a square comes from rectangles. A rectangle. Yes, I do. You have your dark rectangle, your outer, what do we call it? Side triangle and center triangle. So this one's going to be my center triangle, and this is going to be my side triangle. So you start off with 8-inch strips, and then you're going to cut them into 4x8 rectangles, right? And then we're going to split it in half. Wrong sides together, but it doesn't matter with batiks, right? Sometimes. If there's a printed batik, it does. These ones are just dyed. They're the same on both sides, right? No? Right. So I'll split them apart. Oh, I needed 2, didn't I?
You have 2 right there, all right. Open it up.
There we go. So with this one, it worked out really well because I did have 2. Well, yeah, I had them so they're the same print on both sides, but normally you would use them right sides together, right? Is that what it says? Yeah. Wrong sides together, and then you cut in pairs of 2, right?
You have 2 together.
I do?
Yeah.
Oh. Ta-da! So this is something new. We developed a new ruler, the larger triangle in a square up ruler. So this one is a 6.5 inch finished on the outside. And then it also does the, what is that size? Is it 4.5 inches? Oh, yeah, 4.5 inch. So you'll start off with a 7-inch strip for the 6.5 inch size, and then a 5-inch strip for the 4.5 inch patch. So it has this line for squaring it up. So I'm doing the larger one, and you take your 7-inch strip. Imagine this wasn't cut on, because this is all I got. So this one is just a little bit shy. You can see in the corner that it was cut just a little bit shy. But it doesn't really matter. What matters is the tip at the top. Okay? So I lined up my tip on the top of the fabric, and I'm going to cut away. And then I'm going to turn it so the tip is now, oops, goofed up. So now I'm going to turn it so the tip is down at the bottom. And then I'm going to cut away. There. So we're going to take our rectangles, our side triangles, okay? And we're going to move this one off to the side for a second, and we're going to flip our center triangle right sides together to our side. And we'll want it to stick out just like that, okay? And I'm horrible at organization. My bedroom and all my stuff looks like this. I just kind of throw things. Yes.
Little secrets, Bee.
I know I just set myself up for a joke, didn't I?
No, it's not just a guy.
It was the bedroom part, right? Okay, now I'm going to reintroduce my little side, right?
Yep.
And then I'm going to put, do I have to press?
Press.
I don't remember it saying press.
Trust Teresa.
Let me press. Can I have it?
Oh, I'm supposed to flip the page.
Yeah, can I press?
Okay.
So the seam.
Then she wants to do it, that's nice.
So now I have a really cool tip right there. And then when I line up this one, I'm going to line up the top of this tip to that tip. And so on down. All righty. So we'll press again. First, we'll set the seam, and then press to the side triangle, right? So even though it may look like it's kind of wonky, it's because we are trimming it. So it does look wonky. I think my, how'd that happen? My pressing screwed it up? No, it's not. Okay, I can fake it. Let me reintroduce this, and then, oops, let me get that one right here.
I didn't see a thing.
So I put Invisigrip on this one. So Invisigrip is a product by OmniGrid, okay? And it's going to hold on to it really well. It's going to save me from picking up my patch and turning it. So I'll just set it right there. I have a rotating mat on the bottom. You can use a smaller mat or a rotating mat, doesn't matter. The important part is your 1/4 inch seam and that you can still trim on the top. So line that up. Cut up, down. All right, so get rid of these patches. So I have a perfect 1/4 inch seam on the top and a 6.5 inch triangle and a square. So this one doesn't go all the way to the center, but when you sew the seams, it will match up at the 1/4 inch seam line. Okay? So my 3 little patches. So now we get to lay it out, right? Yeah? So we're going to use numbered pins, and we repackaged these little guys into a smaller pack because you really don't need a whole bunch of the same number. At least I haven't found that. You usually just do it seams in rows or sew in rows. So do you have them? Oh. Don't be shy. You can help me. Help me, please.
If you tell me, you look the pattern and tell
So
me.
this one, she's going to do,
Tell me, look the pattern, and then you fill out the 9 tab. How about that?
okay. So she's going to start in the center.
Oops. And then you can go around and put.
And then I'll follow. And so you want to think of it as like radiating out from the center.
Oh, I keep turning it.
So we made our first star. So when we wrote this, the original, like in all the other books that we had, they referred to this as a star patch. Well, right now it's a star patch, but as soon as we start going out, it's no longer a star.
Put me one there. We started too high.
This is okay.
Yeah, right.
So now we're going to fill it in. So now we'll fill it in with triangle, square. Oh gosh, I can't even say it anymore. Yes, whatever they are. Whatever they are. The lady in the back said I just get credit for showing up. I was prepared actually, and then I got really I had a lot of stuff on my mind, and I forgot it all. Okay, we don't need to go any higher.
All right.
So you kind of get the point, right? And then what we're going to do, once you have it all, let's pretend like we're going to be doing it kind of like an offset thing, right? It's not high enough, but I would use the numbered pins. So you can number them 1 and 2, right? And keep the numbered in the very top. And then we're going to go and stack down. So this will be my stack 1, stack 2, right? And then when we bring them to the sewing room, no, you have them right here, and they have at the very top, this is your 1 and this is your 2, and then all you have to do is flip them right sides together, and then bring it over to your sewing room or your sewing machine and sew them, right?
You chain them and keep them locked.
Yes, you do. You chain them and you'll just do all your vertical rows, and then you'll finish up with your horizontal. So there are instructions if you like to do the sawtooth border. The sawtooth for the queen size conveniently comes in 5-inch or uses 5-inch squares. So this little stamp pack, it's by the same name, Jersey Shore. And maybe I need scissors. So they're already, ready. And I think that if you take the stack and you just kind of don't really think about it, you can split the stack and then, work from this one and then this one, just kind of go. But basically what you do is you fold them, and I'm going to look at the picture. So for this one, you fold them right sides together, or wrong sides together, and press. And then you're going to fold them again, right sides together, and press. So you'll get a little football, right? And then when you sew them in your chain, what you want to do is open the one in front of it and put it halfway. And then your next one, you're going to want to make sure that you don't overlap it inside. So that'll be too bulky. So you'll want to get it right in the very center of it, right? And that's really important, that you don't overlap. So as you go down, you do your sawtooth. Yes, and a long chain. So you can do 1 or 2 ways. Some people do 1/8 of an inch, so it's not going to stick out. So you do 1/8 of an inch, so when you come back and you sew it again with your 1/4 inch, it's hidden. And I don't think I need to show anything else, right?
Well, when you go to put this on the quilt, the sawtooth border, right, do you measure it before you go sewing them together? I knew you would.
Well, what I remember from the patterns, we give you an approximate number. So I would take that approximate number, and there's a lot of fudging in there with your sawtooth. So you can unsew a little area and then move it up a little bit. And yes, you would measure it ahead of time and try to figure it out. But by sewing it ahead of time and laying it on the quilt, you can, figure it out before you actually put it on down.
So probably when you sew that 1/8-inch seam, you might want to use a little longer stitch length.
Sure.
Take it apart and base it. You always base it.
So what Brenda said is to use a larger stitch length, so it's just kind of basting it in, and it's not like a really hard to tear out seam.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. Good job. Good job.
So. So next month we have a really cool pattern. It is Magic Carpet Ride. It's actually going to be a 2-fur pattern. So we have 2 separate patterns that they both use 5-inch squares. So 2 different patterns, 2 different techniques. So it's 2 for the price of 1. And then the following month we're going to do the same thing. So. Hint, I told you the name of it. So thank you very much.